Hey, what's up? It's your girl Neek, and you're tuned in to Neek at Night. Okay, so there has been a lot of talk about this whole Starbucks fiasco, whether to boycott, not boycott, what really happened, what really went down. There was a video that has been spread around of the two men being arrested, but there was a lot of speculation as to what really led up to them, being handcuffed and escorted out. The men have lawyered up, and now they decided to do an interview with Good Morning America to break down the events and how everything went down. I'm going to share with you guys a couple clips from the interview, but before I do share the clips of the interview, I just want to break down how the interview starts off. The young man by the name of Dante, he proceeds to tell the interviewer that he simply went up to the register to ask if he can use the restroom. He was told he cannot use the restroom without being a paying customer. Then he proceeded to go back and sit down with his friend, like thinking nothing of it, like whatever. And then here is the rest of the story from his mouth. Here goes.
She then comes from around the register, walks up to us, asks if, she can help us with anything. Can we start with some drinks or water or something like that? For when we have bottles of water with us, so, we're fine. We're just waiting for a meeting. We'll be out really quick type thing. And that was it.
So then the interviewer decided to break down the timeline from the time they got there into the time that the police was called. Apparently, the young man had gotten there at 4:35. Then they went and sat down. Between 4:35 and 4:37, that's when a 911 call was placed to 911 authorities, only 2 minutes after they had arrived. So this next clip that I'm going to show you is the young man detailing what their thoughts were when the police arrived. Here goes.
Arrive, Dante.
You can't be here for us.
So when they do approach you, what do they say and how do you react?
Well, initially, as soon as they approach us, they just said we have to leave. There was no question of, was there a problem here between you guys and the manager? What happened?
When you were arrested, did they tell you what you were being arrested for?
No, not at the time. He wasn't read any rights. Nothing. Just double lock, handcuffs behind our back, and escorted out and put into a squad car.
The next clip I'm going to show you is of their attorney speaking up on their behalf. Here's what he had to say.
The first time, they walk over and they say you have to leave. I say, we're here for a meeting.
What is the business meeting about?
It's a real estate meeting.
Okay.
We've been working on this for months.
What do you say to some people who say rules are rules, that Starbucks has a policy, you violated that policy, the police asked you repeatedly to leave and you didn't? How do you respond to people who say that?
And Robin, I'm sorry, but what is that rule? Starbucks holds itself open as a place for people to meet and to have public conversations. Those are words from their website. We approached Starbucks and suggested that we engage in mediation with a retired federal judge in Philadelphia. And they agreed to that proposal, and we are still involved in that process. That process requires confidentiality.
I understand that. Rules are rules, but what's right is right and what's wrong is wrong. And that's in any situation, whether there's race involved, anything.
There's not a single witness that says that these young men were misbehaving in any way, and you can see and hear that on the video.
Well, the video has been viewed almost 11 million times, and part of it, Dante, you can see that you're talking to the police officer. What were you all saying to one another?
I was just trying to, process the situation to myself at the time, because I'm thinking about my family that I have, my community. So in that moment, I'm trying to process what's going on, because it didn't really hit me what was going on, that it was real, until I'm being double locked and my hands behind my back.
So then to close out the interview, the interviewer asked both men what they expect to see out of this whole fiasco. And both the men decided to give their take on what they wanted to see going forward. And here's what they had to say.
So what I want is for a young man or young men to not be traumatized by this, and instead motivated, inspired.
And what do you want, Rashawn?
So, take this opportunity as a stepping stone, to really stand up and, show your greatness, and that you are not judged by the color of your skin as our ancestors were or anyone else. This is something that has been going on for years, and everyone's blind to it, but they know what's going on, if you get what I mean. And, just really taking those actions and putting them into place and, help people understand that it's not just a black people thing. This is a people thing. And that's exactly what we want to see out of this, and that's true change. So put action into place and stop using your words.
This whole thing is very unfortunate, and it's sad that this has happened for so long before it had went viral. I'm glad that these two young men are able to shed light on a situation that many black young individuals face going into establishments, not only at Starbucks, but many other establishments we get profiled in. And I think that this is a very teachable moment. And it looks like, they got some coin coming their way, and it is well deserved. They were not read their rights from the police officer, so they can go that route. And this whole thing being profiled in Starbucks, they could get coin either way. And I think it's well deserved, because at this point in time, it's 2018. It's time for things like this to stop happening. But yet they are continuing to happen. So when there are moments that, the light can be shed on situations like this, I'm happy for that. Since all of this has been going on, the CEO of Starbucks decided to speak out and give his thoughts on the matter. I posted what he had to say in another video, so you can go to that video and check it out. Also, he decided that he's going to close out 8,000 of the 28,000 stores on May 29th to give a racial bias training for the employees, so that, these types of things don't happen again, and they can try to eliminate any racial bias going forward. I want to know what you guys think about it. I want to know if you think that this situation was blown out of proportion. To be quite honest, I'm not a coffee drinker, so when I go to Starbucks, it takes me at least 2 minutes, before I can even decide on what I want to order in the first place. And that's me at the drive-thru. So I can imagine you sitting down trying to, wait for a business partner and decide on what you're going to get. I think that it was a little bit outrageous between them entering into Starbucks at 4:35 and them calling the police at 4:37. I think that was extremely extreme, but I want to know what you guys think about the whole situation. Let's talk about it in the comments. All right, guys, that's all for this video. Stay tuned for more celebrity news and gossip, but in order to do that, make sure to hit that like and subscribe button right now. Don't wait, do it right now. All right, guys, peace.